we're back with the puppy place, Flash. And guys, I hope you enjoyed the two videos, and I hope you enjoyed the first video of the book. And guys, I hope you like my very first video on my channel. Sky Wars. I don't know what it was, basically. What was it called? So guys, let's get started with chapter 5. And guess who joined us? My stuffed animal Troxy. He is so adorable. Yeah. Okay, let's just get started, guys. Okay, chapter 5. But Lizzie noticed Charles. She and Stephanie raced out to the barn and cornered Charles and Becky before they could get inside Flash's tail. I knew it, Lizzie stood with her hands on her hips, shaking her head. I just knew you two were up to something. Stephanie reached for the door to the stall. Come on, what do you have in there? Charles groaned. It hadn't even been 24 hours. He must have been kidding himself that he could keep a secret from Lizzie and a big guest, but busybody in the world. She always had to be in the know about everything, and obviously, Stephanie was the same way. Charles looked at Becky. Becky looked at Charles. Oh, well, Charles said, I guess you have found out sooner or later. He pushed open the door. The stall. Meet Flash, he said. Oh, said Stephanie. She got down on her knees. Come here, you cutie. She held out a gentle hand to Flash. He was used to people by now, and he walked right over to sniff Stephanie. Wow, said Lizzie. This isn't exactly what I expected. She looked impressed. How long have you two been hiding a dog in here? For a while, Charles said. But at the same time, Becky said. Since last night, Charles made a face at Becky. He didn't want to tell their sisters anymore. They had to. But Lizzie just nodded. What a beautiful border collie, she said, judging by its size. I say it's about 6 months old, Lizzie volunteered. At an animal shelter where she had learned a lot about dogs of all ages. Is it a boy or a girl? He's a boy, said Charles. He wasn't surprised that Lizzie knew what kind of dog it was. She was always studying that dog's breeds of the world poster in her room. By now, Lizzie was patting Flash too. How do you know his name? His owner told us, Becky said. Then she and Charles told Lizzie and Steph the whole story about Murray and Dot, as much as they knew of it. But who's Murray? Asked Lizzie. And where did he and his wife go? Lizzie looked puzzled. Flash looked so healthy and well groomed. It looks like they took good care of him. So why did they leave him here? That's what we've been trying to figure out, Charles said. But we haven't gotten anywhere. He explained about the beard man and their trip to the store. Meanwhile, this puppy needs a home, said Stephanie. By now, Flash was particularly in her lap. She seemed to have a way with dogs. Becky looked excited. I know. Do you think Mom and Dad would let us? No way, said Stephanie. shaking her head. They'll say we're just getting used to living here, and it's too early for a pet, and all that, just like they do when I ask when I'm getting a horse. Well, then, we'll just have to convince Mom and Dad that it's time to foster another puppy, Lizzie said to Charles. But we have Buddy now, Charles said. Lizzie was nodding. I know, but Mom promised we could still foster puppies, remember? She bent to pet Flash again, and he nuzzled her hand. Border collies are so smart and fun. We have to take him home with us. Flash wasn't sure exactly what the girl was saying, but he knew it was about him, and he knew it was good. Even though he still missed his own people, he was starting to feel safe with these children, but he was tired of being cooped up. He needed to run. Hey, where are you going? Stephanie said suddenly. Flash jumped up and wiggled through the partly door stall door before anyone could stop him. Oh no, cried Charles as the white tip of Flash's tail disappeared around the corner. Becky jumped to her feet. We have to stop him before the grown-ups see him, she said. They all ran out of the stall after Flash, but it was too late. He had already dashed out of the barn and into the yard. The dog raced in circles. He ran over the ground so fast he looked like a black and white blur. Oh, wonderful! That was nothing better than running. What a great game! Flash usually liked to chase other things, but it was fun to be chased, too. He felt the cold air ruffle his fur. It was good to be outside. Wait, Flash, come here, Charles called, trying to keep his voice low. This way, Flash, called Lizzie. All four children ran toward the dog. Flash ran even faster. His feet barely seemed to touch the ground. Then Becky remembered the way Charles had gotten the dog to follow them. He never come if we chase him, she said. We have to run the other way, so he's chasing us. Hurting us, you mean? Said Lizzie, her eyes gleaming. That's what border collies do on farms. They just know how to keep a bunch of sheep together. Farms use them to move sheep from one place to another. Lizzie jogged away from Flash and toward the barn, waving the others along with her. Sure enough, Flash stopped in his tracks for a moment, then turned and began to chase them. They were all laughing so hard that they didn't hear the back door opening. Charles, Lizzie, called Mom. What on earth are you doing? Mom was standing on the back porch, holding the bean in her arms. Oops, said Charles. Let us handle this, Stephanie hissed to Becky as they headed toward the house to face the grown-ups. Flash trotted behind them, herding them right up to the doorstep. She's right, Lizzie whispered to Charles. Now listen to us. We're older. Charles and Becky looked at each other with raised eyebrows. What did I tell you? Charles was saying without any words. Becky nodded. The big sisters had taken over. Now Aunt Abigail had joined Mom. Stephanie, what's going on? She asked. Where did that dog come from? Flash was poking his nose into the kitchen. Flash was curious. There were good smells in there. Can he come inside? Stephanie said. This is Flash. Somebody just left him here. Charles saw Aunt Abigail's face soften. You mean he was abandoned? How awful! I've heard that sometimes people leave dogs near farms when they don't want them anymore. Abandoned meant that a dog's owner left it all alone, so the dog had to take care of itself. That wasn't exactly what had happened, but nobody corrected Aunt Abigail. He must be hungry, she went on. Charles thought, all of those leftovers Flash had eaten, plus the puppy food. Well, he began. Then Lizzie pinched him hard. He closed his mouth. Aunt Abigail sighed. All right, she said. Let him in, but will he get along with Buddy and the bean? Charles happened to know that Buddy couldn't wait to play with Flash, and now that Flash felt more at home, he probably enjoyed Buddy too. I think Buddy and Flash will be fine together, Lizzie said, but maybe you should keep holding the bean for now. We don't know how Flash will behave around little kids. They brought Flash into the kitchen, closing the doors to keep him from running through the house. Well, said Dad, keeping up from the table with a big smile. Who's this? He knelt down to say hello to Flash. Uncle Stephen didn't seem as excited. He looked over his glasses at Flash, frowning. And who does it belong to? He asked. We don't know, Charles said honestly, but we think he needs a home. What do you think, Dad? Stephanie asked. Could we keep him, please? She had her arms around Flash's neck. Charles could tell that she had really fallen in love with the black and white pup, and Flash seemed to like her too. This girl was so nice, Flash thought. He could sit here next to her forever, especially in his warm, cozy room. As long as he also got to run and chase and play. That is out of the question, said Uncle Stephen, guys. Turning back to his newspaper. We're just getting settled here. Stephanie turned to Aunt Abigail. Mom, she asked. Aunt Abigail was shaking her head. I don't know, Steph. This dog has a lot of energy. I saw him zooming around the backyard, chasing after you all. I'm not sure we can keep him busy enough. Uncle Stephanie was nodding. A dog like this belongs on a real farm. Look like over at the Barclays. He sighed, turning to Mrs. Peterson. You see that place, right? The one at the other end of the road where the sheep are always getting loose. Charles realized that Stephanie was probably right. Uncle Stephen would never agree to adopting a dog, at least not this one. He watched Stephanie and Becky petting Flash. Then they looked so sad. Charles noticed Mom looking too. Stephanie, Mom said carefully, you should give it a chance. I didn't think your family was ready for a dog either, but we just loved Buddy. Uncle Stephanie shook his head stubbornly. Fine for you, he said. Suddenly, Charles realized something funny. His mother was Uncle Stephen's bossy older sister. Charles looked at Mom, so he asked. Oh, no, said Mom. Oh, yes, said Charles. Can we foster Flash? Just until we find out. Lizzie interrupted. Just until we find the right home. She saved Charles a glance. He knew she was warning him not to tell the grown-ups about Murray and Dot. That would just complicate. I don't know. I don't. I don't know this word, guys. I'm just gonna try just complicate things. Anyway, they wanted to solve the mystery themselves. He's a great puppy. Charles finished, and he made a great friend for Buddy. Uppy! Shouted the bean, struggling to get down and pet Flash, but we don't even know if Buddy and Flash will get along, said Mom. Let's take them outside and find out, said Lizzie. She winked at Charles, and Charles winked back. He and Lizzie both knew that Mom was going to agree. They were going to have a new foster puppy. Sure enough, by the end of the afternoon, it was all settled. Not only did Flash and Buddy get along, but Flash loved the bean too. The border collie would be riding back to Littleton in the van with the Petersons. Not only that, Stephanie and Becky were coming to visit the very next weekend. Chapter 7. Back at home, Charles and Lizzie helped Flash get used to things. Before long, he seemed to feel completely at home. He and Buddy played together for hours in the backyard, and Flash herded the bean all over the house. The week went by almost before Charles knew it, and soon it was time for Becky and Steph to visit. On Saturday morning, Charles and Lizzie and their dad went to meet their cousins at the Littleton bus station. So where's Flash? And when are we going to the mall? Stephanie asked. But 1 second after, she and Becky stepped off the bus that had brought them from their country home. I have all my birthday money with me, plus a gift certificate for the Gap. I cannot wait to shop, and I can't wait to see Flash. I brought him a rawhide bone. I bet he misses me. Whoa! Charles looked over at Becky, and Becky shrugged. Was Stephanie going to be like this all weekend? She was just as bossy as a visitor as she was at her own house. He had been looking forward to seeing his cousins and doing some more detective work. But now he wasn't so sure. Flash is at home with Buddy. Charles told Steph. They're real pals already. They play together all day long. That Flash is so smart, Lizzie boasted. He's already learned all kinds of tricks. Wait till you see how good he is at shaking hands. I taught him in about 5 minutes. He's smart all right, said Dad as he carried his niece's backpacks over the van. Maybe too smart for his own good. It only took him about an hour to figure out how to get out of the yard through the tiniest hole in the fence. Uh-oh, said Stephanie. Yes, uh-oh, said Dad. That dog absolutely lives to run and chase things. I'm afraid he'll start chasing cars if he gets the chance. He started up the van after making sure everybody was settled and turned toward home. We'll keep him from running off, Charles promised his father. He turned to his cousins. Flash is great at chasing balls too. He could do it all day. As long as you keep throwing something, he'll keep running after it. I just wish he had a bigger yard for him. to run in. That's why I want to take him with us to the stable today, Lizzie said. What? Stephanie looked surprised. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I have writing lessons at noon, so we can't go to the mall today, Lizzie explained. She had already told her cousin all about the lessons, and she already told her cousin all about and about her wonderful teacher, Kathy. But it'll be fun. You can meet all the horses, and maybe you can even ride a little. And Kathy said we could bring Flash to the stable. They have a big indoor riding ring where it will be safe for him to run around. We'll go too, Charles said to Becky. You can meet Rascal. He had already told his cousin all about Rascal, a wild little Jack Russell terrier that the Petersons had fostered. They had tried to teach him good indoor manners, but he was just too full of energy and personality. He ended up living at the stable with Kathy and her husband, Wyatt. I'll just say Wyatt. The stable was the perfect place for him. Rascal even had a horse for a best friend. My friend Maria and her dad are picking us up in an hour, Lizzie told Stephanie. Okay, said Stephanie. You know I love horses, but I definitely love shopping too. I'll drive you to the mall tomorrow, Dad promised. Deal? Said Stephanie, sitting back in her seat with a satisfied smile. Back at home, the cousins played with Buddy and Flash in the backyard until Maria and her father until Maria and her dad arrived. Can we all fit in your car, Lizzie asked when they came to the door. Flash and Buddy too. Mimi, shouted the Bean. He hated to be left behind. Maria's dad smiled as he counted on his fingers. 6 kids and 2 dogs. He asked, maybe you and Buddy should stay home with me, Mom said to the Bean. His face crumpled and he took a deep breath, getting ready to scream. I bet Buddy will let you play with his new ball, Charles said quickly. Becky and Stephanie had brought a new toy for Buddy too, a fuzzy purple and white soccer ball. The Bean cheered up right away. Mom gave Charles a grateful look. Have fun, she said, waving as they piled into the car. It was crowded in the backseat, especially with Flash trying to run from side to side so he could see every single thing they drove past. Now that Flash felt more at home with the Petersons, he was less shy and more excited about seeing things. What an interesting world. So much to look at, so much to learn about. Look at those people walking. Maybe they need someone to herd them, someone to help them find their way. When they got to the stables, Maria led the way to the indoor riding ring. I bet that's where we'll find Kathy, she said. Charles had to hold Flash's leash tightly as the strong little dog pulled him this way and that, checking out every little thing. The ring was inside a big barn. When Maria pulled open the door, Charles saw that it was one arranged on a soft dirt floor. It was big enough for a dozen horses to ride around in, but at the moment there were no horses in the ring, just one wild puppy, Rascal. Rascal is crazy, guys, and the book is really good. I read it, but not on YouTube. So, yeah. As soon as they walked in, the litter, Terror started barking wildly. Rascal was small, but he had a big bark. Charles saw Kathy and Rascal down at the far end of the building. He waved. Rascal kept barking as they walked closer, and Flash kept pulling at the leash. "Oh, Rascal," Kathy said, "you hush and be nice to our guest." She smiled and said hello. "And this must be Flash," she said. "What a beautiful border collie." Flash was pulling harder. He wanted to get closer to the thing Rascal was standing on. So did Charles. He was curious about it too. It looked like a giant purple seesaw, painted yellow at each end. While Charles watched, Rascal ran up from the bottom end of the wide board. The seesaw tipped when Rascal was in the middle, and he scrambled down the other side, then barking. "Wow," said Charles. Rascal ran right over to him to say hello, sniff the new dog, and get a pat. "Cool," said Stephanie. "I'll never seen a dog do anything like that." "It's a sport called agility," Kathy explained. "It's like an obstacle course for dogs. This is a teeter-totter. Just one of those obstacles Rascal and I are practicing on our own. Tomorrow my agility group will meet here, and we'll set up the rest equipment. There are all kinds of things to climb over, the jump through the dogs. Love it." She looked at Flash, "Especially dogs like him. There are a lot of border collies in my group." "Flash loves to run," Charles said. "I bet," said Kathy. "Border collies have a lot of energy, and they are very smart. They can really be a thing to do. They are great at herding sheep. Farmers breed them to do just that. Have you ever seen the movie Babe? The one about the pig that herds sheep?" Stephanie asked. "Right," said Kathy. "It has a lot of border collie action in it. You should watch it again anyway. There are things border collies can do if they're not herding sheep. They can stay busy chasing balls or frisbees, or they can do agility. They love that. Why don't you come watch the agility group tomorrow? You'll meet lots of border collies and their owners." "I'd love to," said Lizzie, "but we kind of have plans. Maybe some other time." "Sure," said Kathy. "For now, why don't you go saddle up your horse? It's time for your lesson." Chapter 8, guys. 2 more chapters. And guys, 2 more chapters. So, I think it's 2 more chapters. Let me see. Chapter 9, Chapter 10. Let me check. I'm looking, guys. Yep, only 2 more chapters, guys. That is so exciting, right, guys? So, now I hope you enjoyed this video. I read a lot of chapters for you. So, now, bye, guys. Hope you enjoyed.